Hi, it's John from North Star Nursery, Garden and Home, your coastal gardener. It's that time of year. Most of you have already kind of started because we had such a glorious March. But hanging baskets. So I do this video every year because every year there's new plants, and so I can't resist. Plus, there are new ideas. Of course, the standard idea is when you're doing a hanging basket, you need a thriller, a filler, and a spiller. That has been in the industry for a really long time. And basically, the concept is when you are grabbing material for a basket, you are looking for one item. Let's see if I can do this. One item that is kind of your tall focal point piece or big, something juicy that you're just like, that's going to be what it's going to start with. And then you kind of go from there. On this basket, and this one is just kind of an orange story, orange-ish. And so this is a really great salvia that I love. We actually have it in our pots on our deck. It's called Skyscraper Orange. This is an offshoot of the Wendy's Wish hybridization. There's a whole skyscraper series. There's Skyscraper Orange, pink, and I think purple. I want to say there's a fourth one, but I can't remember it. So what you want to do is you want to find your focal point piece. You want to find another piece that's just going to kind of fill things out a little bit. And then you want something that's going to be spilling. So in this situation, what I've done is I have grabbed this osteospermum because I just think it dances very well with this. And then I've also grabbed this really gorgeous Bidens. This is from Emerisa Gardens in Santa Rosa. This is from the Timeless collection called Blazing Ring of Fire. It's beautiful for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons is this foliage has a kind of rusty red tone to it. So if you're going to play in those rusty red tones, sometimes it's fun to kind of add things that are of foliar interest as well. There's another plant that we love, and this is Oxalis burgundy. And this would be another one that would be a great one. It would definitely spill over the side of the pot. But for this one, I chose these three. Now, in a basket this size, which is about 14 inches, I suggest no more than 3 4-inch pots because there is a point where it's just going to be really hard for you to water. And we're going to talk about some tricks with that later on. These baskets in full sun, and especially if it's windy, are probably going to need to be watered every other day. Every other day with the little tricks I'm showing you. If you don't have the little tricks, then probably almost every day if they're in full sun. So just remember that when you're doing baskets, they're exposed. They don't have a huge soil mass because a lot of these baskets are shallow, and I'll show you some other options later. And so what you want to do and what I do, so I forgot one thing. I'm so excited about this. So what I do is I plant the 4-inch in, a little triangle. And then in the open spaces between those 4-inch, I will pop in something like this. This is just simply white Sweet Alyssum. It will spill over also and fill all those little holes that are not perfect right now. The other thing that would look gorgeous is this is Crystal Palace Lobelia. Look at the leaf color on that. And then you add to the fact that it has this bluish purple flower that would dance beautifully with these orange tones. Orange and purple are just stunning. I love this time of year. It's so exciting. So that was the little orangey guy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I would plant a pot. So this is, again, a shallow basket. We're starting out with a good potting soil. So we have the Green All Organic, and we've filled it almost 75% to the top. And the reason I do that is because we're going to offset some of that soil mass when we start to plant things. So this one, I'm excited about this because I'm going to try something new this year, and it kind of goes against the thriller spiller thing. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually plant things that all cascade. So this basket is going to be all about cascading. So I have chosen a gorgeous petunia called Headliner Night Sky that you guys keep eating up like crazy. Last year we could not keep them in stock. But I'm going to add those mimulus. If you guys have been to the nursery in the last 3-4 weeks, the hanging baskets or window boxes under the windows facing north have these mimulus in them. Mimulus are just a flower power, man. They bloom like crazy. And so on our coastal kind of plain here, up to 2 miles or so, they'll bloom and look gorgeous year round. They are classified as an annual, but in our little area here, they stay and go year to year. And so what I do in the winter is I clear cut them and I fertilize them, and they just start to regrow. And then in the spring, they're going gangbusters, which is what ours are doing now. It just is gorgeous. It is a mix of colors. So because we're doing so much with them, what we've decided to do is actually we brought in little tiny babies, and we're going to plant them individually. They're usually seeded with multiple seeds, so it may not be a pure 4-inch one color, but we're hoping for some more solid colors in what we've planted. They probably won't be ready for about 4 weeks, but we do have a bunch of 6-packs in stock right now. So, prepping the basket. So we've got the really good soil. Now, this is the little trick. This is called soil moist. And for lack of a better word, it's like a large-scale Jell-O granule. It's called P4. It's a little white granular thing. Less is more. I had a lady use an entire bag of these. It was a few years ago, and she called me the next day and was wondering why there was this stuff oozing out of her plant. She thought it had to do with the plant. I said, "Did you use the bag?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Did you use the whole bag?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "It's because you used too much." So what I do is I take about a half a scoop. This is probably about oversized tablespoon, I would say. And I sprinkle it evenly over the top. And then I take my Sure Start and I sprinkle that over the top. I'd say about 1/4 of a cup for the the basket. And then I just kind of mix it into that top 1/4 of the basket. And then level it out. So this is going to be my Mounding Magic basket. I'm going to call it that, Mounding Magic. This is going to have that glorious petunia, this guy, which is just a stunner, Headliner Night Sky. There's so many parts, or so many different ones of the Headliner series. There's Headliner Midnight Sky, Pink Sky. We have Pink Sky in stock right now too. Actually, here it is. So if you're in the mood for the pink, there's that one also. So what I do is I make my little space for my 4-inch. And then even though I've added all that Sure Start, I put a little bit right at the base. The nice thing about Sure Start is it doesn't burn. And so it's really, really great for the plants. It gets them off to a great start. Sure Start. So it looks like I may have not put in enough soil, and that's why we have a little bucket to the side just in case. You don't want to overfill it. It's really, really important. There is a plastic liner that's on the side of, or on the entire part of the basket. And you want to make sure that you have about 1/2 inch below that liner. The reason is you need a reservoir to water the basket. That is really critical. Because if you're watering it and you've filled it too much, then what happens is it just runs over the top, and then you're fighting a losing battle. So this is our little Petunia Headliner Night Sky. And then I'm going to take a 6-pack of the Mimulus. This is going to be so gorgeous. So I'm going to do 6 little holes. And I'm just going to tuck in my Mimulus. I probably should rip up those roots a little bit. So sometimes when these things come in, they're a little rooted because things root out really quickly, especially in this warm weather. And then I'm going to do a little hole here on my Sure Start. Some of these Mimulus, the color combinations are just incredible. So I'm using the entire 6-pack. This basket is going to be ginormous by the end of the season. You won't be able to even see the basket. It will just be a cascading dream. It'll be cascading magic. Magic. Do-do. I need like a music soundtrack behind me. I guess I could be talking about stuff. One of the other things is some of these baskets, when the liners are put in, have no holes. So what you want to do is check your liner before you plant it, because sometimes you have to take a razor blade and just do a simple slit or a few holes, because you actually kind of want it to hold more water than it would probably do normally. Oops, Sure Start. Okay, there you go. So it's already kind of full, but you can see once this gets going, these Mimulus are going to cascade down probably a good 8 inches easily, probably more. And they kind of come out and then they kind of spill. So, and then this Petunia is going to go gangbusters also. I planted some headliners in some pots at the house probably 2 weeks ago. They had no blooms on them. They were kind of smaller than these because they had just come in, and they were about 4 inches. And today when I went out there, they were easily 8 inches. The 6-pack petunias that I planted on the deck same week are already filling the pot. So petunias can get big really fast. So can the Mimulus. So if you're there's a question from the audience.
Can this be done in a planter instead of a basket?
Oh, yes. Yes. So the question was, can this be done in a planter versus a basket? For sure, for sure, for sure. So the concept is just the same whether it's a container or a basket, or even in the garden. You know, it doesn't have to be that it's just limited to containers. When you're working with plant material, there's an opportunity there to kind of play with heights, foliage color, mixing. And, you know, the spiller may not be a spiller in the ground. It may just be a ground cover. But you get those stair-stepped effects. And in a container like this, you get that dance where they're intertwining and weaving together. It's just artistry in motion. It's beautiful. So this is that. The other thing I thought of this morning, I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to yank this petunia out. I'm thinking of doing these Mimulus baskets with this grass in the middle, just for production, and actually growing them here, just a few, just to try it. But I just think for like a more modern, clean look, this would be a great way to have some, what they call on the East Coast, spike, because on the East Coast they use a spiky plant that's in the Dracaena family, I think, and it's always in the center of all of their pots. It's a very strong tradition there. I don't always love it, but it is very pretty and dramatic. But I think the variegated, this is Lamandra Lamandra Platinum Beauty. There's quite a few different Lamandra grasses, and they're really sturdy. And when the basket is done at the year end, you can always take everything out and just cut it into pieces, the root mass, and plant it out in the garden. It doesn't have to be that the basket stays there forever, because sometimes they get kind of too rooted and it's really hard to maintain. So don't be afraid to move them after you're done using them, because a lot of these plants are still very much viable for the garden. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the whole thing with the P4 granule. A lot of people actually say to use a diaper, which it basically has the same material in it. The only problem is you want to be careful about lining a basket with a diaper because, of course, being a diaper, it's not meant to leak. So it will hold too much moisture. So make sure if you're going to do that, that you at least put a slit in the middle of the diaper so that it actually will drain out. So,
I just want to see.
I'm going to show you.
Great.
One of the things I wanted to point out is that we did these. These are our watering can planters that are really cute. And we did these in February. This is an oxalis that we have in stock right now. This is a bacopa, and this is a phlox. This is a very simple basket. It only has 3 perennials in it. So it's very, very focused, very simple, but as you can see, a very, very effective plant grouping. This is kind of a pinkish story. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about making sure that when you pick a plant, so we have some really gorgeous cosmos, but some of them get 4 feet tall. So be very aware of what you're picking. Make sure that you're picking ones that are shorter. These get up to 24 inches, so I don't think it's going to be such a problem. This Nemesia is off the charts. You want to talk about another one you guys loved. This is Nemesia Nessia Magenta. Those colors are just gorgeous. And I paired it with this cosmos called Capriola. I can't even begin to express the kinds of beautiful cosmos that we have right now. I bought in a bunch of them. So there's doubles, there's this one, there's another bicolor, and again, some of them get quite large. So consider that when you're looking at them. The other thing I didn't mention is when you're planting them, put the basket in a pot, because it makes it easier for you to kind of navigate, and you're not fighting a losing battle. This is another great mixture. This is another one from Amarisa. This is the salvia called Love and Wishes. So it has a kind of pale purple calyx and then a deep purple flower. Really, really pretty. This guy, I'll be surprised if we have any left by the end of this day. This is Flower Power Spider Purple. You guys always love these. They're always later to come in. This is Osteospermum. These guys get quite large. Large being wide. So they usually top out about 18 inches, but they can get up to 2 feet in width. In a basket, in a planter like this, plants aren't going to get their total full size because there's just not enough everything there for them to do it. This is another beauty from Amarisa. This is Ombre Blue, but I thought it was really pretty in that pale purple tone. I love it when they call things blue when they're really not.
We have another question.
Ooh, another question?
Allegra is asking, do we have any cupcake cosmos?
I thought I ordered some, but I'm not sure that I still have any left. I did get some last year, and my plan is to definitely have them. What I can do is message later on after I check stock, but that's another gorgeous one also. This one is kind of an orange story. This is just basic marigolds. This is Safari Mix. This is a great Bidens. We love Bidens because they bloom like crazy almost year round. This is called Blazing Star. And then this is a gorgeous grass. This will actually get quite large. Again, read the labels because you're going to get seduced by something. This can get up to 18 inches. So right now it looks really cute. You wouldn't want to put it on the side. You definitely want to put it in the middle. And then I would add this lobelia to it because I just think the foliage color is gorgeous. We also have, all the usual suspects. We have Bacopa like crazy in pink, blue, and white. These are just the best spiller in the world. And they're usually pretty simple. They don't really require too much. And then we did the pink. To say we have Calibrachoas now would be an understatement. This one is gorgeous, and I think it needs to go home to my house. This is called Mini Famous Uno Double Orange. These names, they're just cuckoo crazy. Usually they're all food names. This one was a really cute one too. This one has, from our friends at Blooms, this is a little calendula that's petite. It's so cute. It's called Cheers Yellow. And so it just has small flowers. Again, these calendulas are edible, so don't forget you can throw them into salads. This is Nemesia Baby Cakes Little Cherry. Really, really sweet. I have to admit, had a heck of a time matching colors to this, but when I saw the yellow in the center of the flower, this little guy came to mind. And of course, the Mimulus are just going to be in those warm tones anyways, so it's going to be a win-win. All right, well, I could go on for hours because this is something I love, and so we'll have to cut it short because I'm really running over. I hope you guys are having a great day. The nursery is packed with gorgeous stuff right now. It is spring. So I will be around, and we look forward to seeing you at the nursery.